One last dance, my sweet. We go together like la 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 ding ding dong. Yeah, forever like shua shua da ching ding dong. Chang 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 the bong. That's the way it should be. Oh, I wish the last dance would have played out like a musical. Would have been a hell of a lot better than what we got.
Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Venom, The Last Dance, directed by Kelly Marshall, and is the third and final installment in the Venom trilogy, as well as the fifth installment in the Sony Villainverse, and the second Sony Villainverse movie to release in 2024 after Madam Web back in February, which I don't think that movie is quite one of the biggest comic book movie uh, atrocities, as everybody says, but Venom The Last Dance tells the story taking place after Venom's fight with Carnage in Let There Be Carnage, where Eddie is hiding out in Mexico, and he and Venom are being pursued by this military scientist guy that wants to capture Venom, and Null, the god of all symbiotes, played by Andy Serkis. He may get the opportunity to break out of his imprisonment with the help of his symbiotes, including a Xenomorph, who is also pursuing Eddie and Venom. All Venom's world has literally found Eddie's. It will come down to Eddie making the decision to part ways with Venom forever. Who agrees it is the biggest joke of the year that Venom The Last Dance has a higher Rotten Tomatoes score than Joker Folia do? Now that's one joke Arthur can tell. I still stand by my honest opinion that Venom 2018 that kickstarted this Sony Villainverse is still the only good one. One bright light in a library of horribleness to mediocrity. I mean, Venom Let There Be Carnage, well, total step down from its predecessor, and Morbius. Well, the less said about that nightmare of a movie, the better. And Madam Web, not a lot better, but again, dull as dishwater. And I mean, I thought Madam Web would remain the weakest comic book movie of 2024, but now I'm afraid The Last Dance or Last Dancer may now be my least favorite comic book movie this entire year. Yeah, this is one of the most disappointing movies I've seen all year. Underwhelming, lifeless, and messy conclusion to the Venom trilogy. What is such a uneven trilogy for me. I mean, while not horrible, but it's feels like a bit of an anticlimax after uh, all of the potential it had. But I mean, the Sony Villainverse is still remains in the same vein as the Amazing Spider-Man duology, as one of the worst superhero franchises ever made, and this what they've done is not good enough, and has failed to win me over. Would this be the worst of the Venom trilogy? Sadly, yes, absolutely and unequivocally yes. I mean, even Let There Be Carnage, for all of Let There Be Carnage's shortcomings, and trust me, its script felt like carnage. It's at the very least had Michelle Williams as Anne in it. It at least had some minor entertainment value, and at least felt kind of consistent with the first film, narrative wise. Even though this is going to be a more negative review, there there are still some positive things I have to say. Like, yeah, I do think Kelly Marshall as director, she did do the best she could, and I mean, I do applaud her for her ambition of making this the first R-rated 15-rated Venom movie, and I mean that's something the fans have craved ever since Venom 2018. This one does have a less comedy than the first two, and does go for a darker tone, which does make sense as it is the final installment and the conclusion to Venom and Eddie's relationship. But making it darker doesn't automatically make it better. In execution, didn't entirely pay off, and though uh, Tom Hardy is still a blaster to watch as Eddie Brock and Venom. Despite his best efforts, he can't keep the entire movie from afloat, from sinking. And I mean, and the third act and the climax is the most entertaining parts, where we get to see all the symbiotes break out and just rampage everywhere, including some fan favorite symbiotes from Marvel, from the comics, like the white female symbiote. I mean, yeah, she would be uh, uh, my absolute favorite. Yeah, she looked so raz. The symbiote horse in the desert from the trailer. Yeah, yeah, that was the only scene I liked in the first two acts of the film. I was like, okay, this scene does recapture uh, the fun that I had with the first two Venom movies. Can we please have more of this? Ride 'em, cowboy. But uh, there's simply not enough of the buddy friendship dynamic between Eddie and Venom here. There's too much going on, to put it simple. The script is a bunch of subplots, like Eddie, in Mexico after murdering a guy. The military and scientific organization hunting Eddie and Venom, Null attempting to return the symbiotes coming at Earth. I'm like, a Venom movie shouldn't make your brain hurt to trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Why do we need all this science crap that's we don't care about? And Chitwell Ejiofor as the scientist, yeah, his boy was his character a bore, and I and in all the science lab scenes, I was like, I wish I was watching this on Netflix so that I could just fast forward all these scenes and get to the good parts, and uh, also Null as the main antagonist, more like a dull god of the symbiotes. You mean Andy Serkis does make him look sinister and borderline creepy, but the character is not in the movie as much as he should be, and his backstory, generic as fuck. He was once locked away, and only now he's finally resurfacing, and Eddie and Venom need to stop him. It's the writing for him is nothing out of the ordinary, and even Xenomorph, the symbiote that does that's on the plane action scene and does interact with Eddie and Venom. I mean, yeah, the design looks way too crazy and just like a rejected xenomorph from the Alien movies. Nowhere near as intimidating as what we saw in Alien Romulus 2 months ago, and the soundtrack. Well, considering this is titled The Last Dance, you'd think this would be more of a musical and more emphasis on the soundtrack, but the I sat through an hour and 50 minutes of such a lifeless score. It is that unnoticeable. I mean, say what you want about Joker Folia Do being a musical, but at least that's movie soundtrack puts this one to complete and utter shame. And you want to know the biggest flaw with The Last Does? Michelle Williams' character Anne. I was concerned about her absence in the trailer, and my worst fears were confirmed. She is entirely absent from this movie. They totally wrote her out. Why? Like, it makes her romance with Eddie that was established in the first two leads to nothing. That's why I favour Let There Be Carnage over The Last Dud, as at least she was in Let There Be Carnage. But yeah, there's all so I wanted to see her return and maybe get some symbiote dance scenes with Eddie in Venom form and whoop as much ass as her symbiotic boyfriend, but no, we get none of that. Given that this is directed by a female director, there's amazingly a lack of strong women and strong female characters in the Last Dance, and the budget of just $120 million. That is too measly and too low. So the CGI does not look any more impressive than the CGI from the first two. Yeah, because Sony are that lazy with their visual effects and of the ending, the entire conclusion. I didn't give two shits, and I wanted to care because Venom dies at the end, so Eddie has now lost his lifelong friend forever. But because most of this movie has been such a boring slog, and Eddie and Venom have barely had any uh, friendship moments together. I didn't feel it for a finale. This is as well uh, mediocre as you can go. There's no moments where you can hear a pin drop. There are no moments that will bring out the tears. It's just falls flat. So yeah, Venom the Last Does is uh, one of the biggest duds of a conclusion to a trilogy I have seen in some time. Please watch a Joker Folia Do instead of The Last Dancer. Don't let then The Last Dancer's box office overtake Folia Do's. Folia Do is a far superior R-rated superhero movie. I give Venom The Last Dud 2 stars out of 5. Meh movie. So yeah, I so wanted The Last Dancer to be the one savior of the Sony villain verse this year, and the first Sony villain verse movie that I genuinely enjoyed since Venom 2018. But no, they squandered it. well, Craven the Hunter. I mean, that's gonna be one of the worst comic book movies. Period. I haven't seen the movie, but I already can tell. Oh, well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. What are your thoughts on Venom: The Last Dance, and how would you rank the Venom trilogy personally? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow on Twitter and on Instagram, and I'll see you all next time. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.